Have you ever wondered why it feels like God's chosen ones are constantly broke? It doesn't make sense, right? They follow God, live by His word, and yet they face financial struggles that seem endless. Here's the thing. What if being broke isn't a sign of failure but a part of God's divine plan? What if the reason they face financial hardship is deeper than what meets the eye? This is not about punishment. In fact, it's about preparation, spiritual warfare, and breaking generational curses. While the world chases wealth and measures success by bank accounts, God has a different standard for His chosen. Financial struggle is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of something much greater. In this video, you're about to discover why God's chosen ones often find themselves broke, and how these struggles are shaping them for a future filled with purpose, strength, and divine impact. This truth is one that many don't talk about, but it's time to reveal the real reason why being broke might just be part of God's plan for His chosen. When people think about being financially broke, they often associate it with failure. But for those who are chosen by God, it's part of a much bigger plan. Financial struggles aren't a punishment, but a process of spiritual growth. It's like the sculpting of a masterpiece. Rough around the edges at first, but with every strike of the chisel, it takes shape. God uses these moments to refine His chosen, deepening their faith. Look at Jesus. Even He faced moments where material wealth wasn't a part of His mission, yet His purpose remained profound. Now, imagine a world where every prayer for wealth is answered instantly. Would that really build integrity? God knows that financial ease doesn't always lead to spiritual growth. Sometimes, He allows these hard seasons to show chosen ones that money isn't their source. He is. This kind of faith in God's provision builds a reliance that no amount of riches could replace. When the struggles are tough, it's easy to forget this truth. But those who hold firm will see the strength it builds in their character. Many chosen ones look around and wonder, why am I still struggling financially while others seem to prosper? But that's the point. God has a different timeline and a different lesson for each of His children. Jesus Himself didn't focus on material wealth but on fulfilling His divine purpose. In moments of doubt, remember that being broke is not a sign of failure. It's a step towards something greater. You ever hear of a blacksmith? They don't just throw metal into the fire and hope it turns into a sword. They heat it, hammer it, and bend it until it's perfect. That's what God does with the chosen ones through financial hardship. He's refining them. The fire of being broke isn't the end. It's the beginning of a stronger, more resilient you. Those who endure are being prepared for something even bigger, something they might not even be able to imagine yet. When you're struggling, it's hard to see the forest for the trees. Sometimes it feels like nothing is going your way. That's when God is working behind the scenes. When Jesus sent out His disciples, He didn't give them wealth but rather the tools they needed to fulfill their mission. God is doing the same for His chosen ones today. You're not broke because you're abandoned. You're broke because you're being built. Being financially broke doesn't mean you're spiritually bankrupt. God has a way of shifting your focus away from material things and back to Him. It's in these tough times that chosen ones learn what's truly valuable. Jesus didn't need wealth to change the world, and neither do you. These struggles are refining your purpose and preparing you for the responsibility of blessings that are yet to come. Think about Joseph. He went from being thrown into a pit by his brothers to ruling Egypt. But it wasn't immediate. His financial and personal struggles shaped him into the leader God knew he could be. For chosen ones, financial hardships are part of that journey, building the necessary skills and wisdom to handle future blessings. God isn't withholding from you. He's preparing you. So when you look at your situation and wonder why you're still broke, understand that this is just part of the process. God sees the bigger picture, and while you might feel bankrupt now, He is laying the foundation for something far greater than you could imagine. This is not the end of your story. It's merely the beginning of your divine calling. Trusting in God's provision requires a shift in perspective, especially when the world around us equates success with wealth. Chosen ones are called to a different standard. Instead of placing their faith in material riches, they are asked to trust in God's ability to provide, just like Jesus did during His time on earth. This isn't about neglecting practical needs, but understanding that true security doesn't come from a bank account, but from God's hand. It's in these moments of uncertainty that faith is tested and strengthened. You see, in the Bible, there are countless examples of people who had to rely on God's provision. Take Elijah, for example, who was fed by ravens during a famine. No money, no resources, just trust in God. That's the kind of provision chosen ones experience when they lean on Him instead of their own abilities. Financial struggles are a chance to let go of control and see that God's resources are infinite. It's not about being broke, it's about being open to His ways, which often defy worldly logic. For many, being broke feels like the ultimate defeat. But for the chosen, it's a reminder to trust in God over all else. Remember, Jesus taught His disciples not to worry about what they would eat or wear because God knew their needs before they even asked. In the same way, those facing financial hardship today are being invited into a deeper relationship with God, where trust is the currency. It's about shifting from, "How can I fix this?" to, "How can I trust Him more?" Practical trust can look like this. Instead of scrambling to solve every financial issue yourself, take a moment to pray and ask God for guidance. Maybe it's about budgeting wisely or learning to live within your means. But more importantly, it's about trusting that God will provide exactly what you need when you need it. It's not always about what's in your wallet, but about what's in your heart and how you lean on Him. When you think about Jesus feeding the 5,000 with just 5 loaves and 2 fish, it wasn't about having enough. It was about trusting God to make enough. Chosen ones are asked to live in that same kind of faith. It may feel like the resources are too few, but God multiplies what's in front of you. Your role is to trust, even when the numbers don't add up, knowing that God's provision doesn't always come in the way we expect. Trusting God's provision also means recognizing that His timing is perfect. We often want things right now, but God sees the bigger picture. Financial struggles teach patience and reliance on Him rather than the immediate gratification that wealth can bring. Think about how Jesus waited until the perfect moment to reveal Himself fully. In the same way, God waits for the right time to provide exactly what His chosen ones need, shaping them in the process. The world might label you as bankrupt, but God sees you differently. To Him, you're rich in faith and purpose. Jesus never focused on accumulating wealth but rather on doing the will of His Father. When chosen ones embrace this mindset, they start to see financial challenges as opportunities to trust God in deeper ways. It's about letting go of the fear that comes with lack and embracing the peace that comes from knowing God has it all under control. So, the next time you find yourself worrying about bills or financial security, remember that God's provision is bigger than any paycheck. Jesus said that God takes care of even the sparrows. How much more will He take care of you? Trusting in His provision isn't always easy, but it's the path to peace in the midst of financial struggles. God's chosen ones are never truly bankrupt when their trust is in Him. There's a reason why God sometimes withholds financial blessings, and it's not because He wants to keep chosen ones in a state of struggle. Instead, it's about ensuring they have the spiritual maturity and integrity to handle wealth in a way that honors Him. Think about it. If wealth came easily, would it be used responsibly? God is more interested in shaping the heart and character of His chosen before entrusting them with material abundance. It's like a parent who won't hand over the car keys to a child until they've learned how to drive properly. Jesus Himself showed us that spiritual depth matters more than material gain. His life wasn't about accumulating wealth, but about fulfilling His purpose. In the same way, chosen ones are being prepared for a greater calling, and sometimes that means learning the hard lessons of humility, patience, and trust in God before they can handle more. It's not about withholding, it's about timing. God's timing is perfect, and He knows when each person is ready to handle the blessings He has in store. Have you ever seen someone come into wealth too quickly and lose it just as fast? That's what happens when maturity doesn't precede abundance. Chosen ones are being trained through financial struggles to build the wisdom and discernment they need to be responsible stewards of wealth. It's not just about having money, it's about knowing how to use it in ways that align with God's purpose. The journey of being broke is part of the preparation for that responsibility. Think of it like gardening. You don't plant a seed and expect a tree to grow overnight. The seed needs time to take root, to be watered, and to grow strong before it bears fruit. In the same way, chosen ones are in a season of spiritual growth, where financial hardships are the soil God uses to grow them. The fruit of wealth comes later, once they have developed the maturity needed to handle it. It's not just about surviving this season, but about thriving in faith. In practical terms, this might look like learning how to manage the little you have right now. Maybe it's about being wise with budgeting, giving even when it feels like there's not enough, or learning contentment in the midst of lack. Jesus taught that those who are faithful with little will be entrusted with more. Chosen ones must embrace this mindset, understanding that spiritual maturity and responsible stewardship go hand in hand. Maturity isn't just about financial wisdom, it's also about integrity. God cares about the heart, and sometimes financial hardship exposes where our true trust lies. Is it in money or in Him? Chosen ones who learn to place their faith in God during times of lack are being prepared for the day when wealth will no longer be a stumbling block but a tool for advancing God's kingdom. It's all about the heart posture, not the bank balance. It's easy to look around and see others thriving financially while you feel stuck. But remember, God's plan is uniquely tailored to each person. What looks like delay is actually divine preparation. Jesus spent years in quiet preparation before stepping into His public ministry. And in the same way, chosen ones are being prepared in their own season of financial struggle. The wealth will come, but only when the spiritual foundation is strong enough to support it. So, when it feels like wealth is just out of reach, take heart. God isn't holding out on you, He's preparing you. He knows that spiritual maturity is the foundation for handling wealth responsibly. The journey of being broke isn't a punishment. It's a training ground for what's to come. The true blessing is not just in the wealth itself, but in the wisdom and integrity that come from learning to trust God through the process. Many chosen ones face financial hardships that seem to come out of nowhere. But here's the thing, these struggles aren't just about money. Often, they are part of a much larger spiritual battle. The enemy knows that if he can keep God's chosen financially broke, it becomes harder for them to fulfill their divine purpose. Jesus Himself faced spiritual attacks during His ministry, and chosen ones today are no different. The financial difficulties they face are not just bad luck. They are strategic moves by the enemy to block their impact. Think about it. If you are constantly worried about paying bills, it's harder to focus on God's calling. That's why financial struggles often come hand in hand with spiritual warfare. The enemy knows that resources are crucial for spreading God's kingdom, and so he targets chosen ones to keep them from being able to use their wealth for good. It's not just about being broke, it's about being distracted from the bigger mission that God has for you. But here's the good news. Jesus overcame every spiritual attack that came His way, and through Him, chosen ones have the power to do the same. Financial struggles might feel overwhelming, but they are an opportunity to strengthen faith and lean into God even more. Every time the enemy throws another challenge, it's a chance to trust God more deeply. Spiritual warfare is real, but so is God's provision and protection over His chosen ones. In practical terms, this means fighting back in ways that go beyond the material. It's about praying for wisdom, seeking God's guidance on how to navigate financial decisions, and standing firm in faith even when the numbers don't add up. It's also about recognizing that you are in a battle and arming yourself with spiritual tools, prayer, fasting, and scripture, just as Jesus did when He was tempted in the wilderness. Financial warfare requires spiritual solutions. The enemy's goal is to keep you focused on your lack, so that you miss the bigger picture of what God is doing in your life. But remember, financial lack does not define you. In fact, it's often in these seasons of struggle that God does His most profound work. Chosen ones who face financial hardship are often being positioned for something greater. The enemy may try to stop them, but God uses even the struggles to prepare them for their ultimate calling. Think of it like this. A soldier doesn't enter a battle without armor, and neither should God's chosen. Financial struggles are part of the spiritual battlefield, but they are not the end of the story. God equips His chosen ones with the faith, resilience, and wisdom they need to overcome. The enemy might try to keep them broke, but God is preparing them for something much bigger. The financial hardship is just a temporary distraction from a much greater victory. Jesus Himself experienced moments where the enemy tried to derail His mission, but He never lost sight of God's plan. In the same way, chosen ones must remember that their financial struggles are just one piece of a larger spiritual battle. The enemy may use finances as a weapon, but God has already won the war. By standing firm in faith, chosen ones can push through the financial difficulties and step into the divine purpose God has set for them. So, while the enemy may want to keep you focused on what you don't have, God wants you to focus on what you're becoming through the struggle. The financial hardship is real, but it's not permanent. The spiritual growth, however, is eternal. God's chosen are being prepared for something much greater than wealth itself. They are being prepared for a life of impact, purpose, and divine alignment. Financial struggles for God's chosen ones are not just random hardships, they are seasons of preparation. God allows His chosen to go through times of lack to prepare them for future greatness. It's like being in the gym. The weight may feel heavy, but it's building strength for the tasks ahead. Jesus spent years in preparation before stepping into His public ministry. In the same way, chosen ones are being refined, learning how to handle challenges with grace and resilience, so that when they step into their destiny, they are fully prepared. When you're in the middle of financial difficulties, it can feel like a never-ending cycle, but those struggles are sharpening your faith and character. God uses these moments to mold His chosen ones, stripping away the things that could hold them back when they step into their future purpose. Jesus wasn't focused on wealth during His ministry because He knew His mission was greater. In the same way, the financial struggle is part of the preparation for a bigger assignment that God has in store. Think about an athlete preparing for a race. They don't just show up on race day and hope to win. They train, they endure hardship, they push their limits so that when the time comes, they are ready. The same goes for God's chosen ones. The financial hardships are the training ground. It's in this season that you learn to manage what you have wisely, to trust in God's provision, and to develop the character that can handle the blessings to come. In practical terms, this preparation might look like learning how to budget effectively, finding ways to give even when you feel like you don't have much, or staying faithful to the work God has called you to do, even when there's no immediate financial reward. Jesus taught His followers to be faithful in the small things, knowing that those who are faithful with little will be entrusted with much. God is preparing chosen ones to be stewards of great wealth, but first, they must show they can handle the season of lack. Financial struggle is also a time of spiritual alignment. God uses these seasons to pull His chosen closer to Him, reminding them that their identity is not in their bank account but in their relationship with Him. Jesus didn't need material wealth to fulfill His purpose, and neither do chosen ones. They are being prepared for a future where their influence, wisdom, and impact will far outweigh any temporary financial setback. It's about trusting the process, even when it doesn't make sense. Chosen ones often feel the weight of financial struggle, but that weight is building the endurance they will need for their future assignments. God doesn't waste a single hardship. Every moment of financial lack is shaping them for something greater, just as Jesus endured challenges before stepping into His ministry. Chosen ones are being refined so that when the time comes, they are ready to step into the greatness God has planned for them. Sometimes, preparation involves stripping away things that no longer serve the purpose God has for you. Financial struggles can be a tool that God uses to remove distractions, teaching chosen ones to focus on what truly matters. It's not just about surviving this season, it's about thriving in it, knowing that every challenge is bringing you closer to the greatness that awaits. Jesus Himself showed us that the path to greatness is often paved with sacrifice and struggle. So, if you're in the middle of financial hardship, remember that it's not in vain. God is preparing you for greatness. The struggles you face today are equipping you with the strength, wisdom, and resilience you will need to handle the blessings of tomorrow. This season is temporary, but the lessons you're learning are eternal. God's chosen ones are being prepared for a future that goes far beyond financial wealth. It's a future of divine impact and purpose. For many of God's chosen ones, financial struggles are about more than just personal hardship. They are part of a divine mission to break generational curses. Poverty and debt can run deep in families, passed down from generation to generation like unwanted inheritances. But God has a plan to change that. Chosen ones are called to stand in the gap and break the chains of financial bondage, setting up future generations for a life of abundance and freedom. Jesus came to set the captives free, and that includes freedom from the cycles of lack and debt. Generational curses of poverty don't break overnight. It's a battle, and often chosen ones are the first in their family to face it head-on. It's a hard road, but God equips them with the strength, wisdom, and faith to push through. Jesus Himself faced generational opposition, and yet He overcame it with unwavering trust in God. In the same way, those called to break the curse of financial lack are given the tools they need to succeed, even when the odds seem stacked against them. Breaking these generational curses requires not just spiritual work, but practical actions as well. For some, this may mean learning how to manage finances in ways their parents or grandparents never did. It could look like creating a budget, sticking to a savings plan, or even seeking financial education that was never available to previous generations. God's chosen ones are tasked with building a foundation of wisdom and faith that will set their family on a new trajectory. It's not just about breaking the curse, it's about building a legacy. Take the story of Nehemiah, for example. He returned to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem after they had been in ruins for generations. It wasn't easy, but he led the way. Brick by brick. Chosen ones today are doing the same, rebuilding the financial walls that have crumbled in their families. Every decision to be wise with money, to give generously, or to trust God's provision is a brick in that new foundation. It may feel slow, but the legacy being built is strong. The enemy doesn't want generational curses to be broken, and that's why financial struggles can feel so intense. But Jesus came to break every chain, including those of poverty. God's chosen ones are not just fighting for their own financial freedom. They are fighting for their children, their grandchildren, and all the generations to come. What starts as a struggle today becomes a testimony tomorrow, and that testimony will inspire future generations to live in freedom. In practical terms, breaking generational curses of poverty might mean having hard conversations with family members about money, changing spending habits, or even seeking professional advice. Jesus didn't just teach about spiritual matters. He gave practical examples that people could apply in their daily lives. In the same way, God's chosen ones are called to combine faith with action. It's about more than prayer. It's about making wise financial decisions that honor God and break the cycle of lack. It's important to remember that breaking generational curses takes time. Chosen ones may not see the full fruit of their labor in their lifetime, but they are planting seeds for future generations. Jesus said that those who sow in tears will reap with joy. And that's true for financial struggles as well. The hardship endured today will lead to a harvest of financial freedom for future generations. It's a long-term mission, but one that will change the course of a family's history. So, if you're facing financial hardship and it feels overwhelming, know that you are not just fighting for yourself. God has called you to break the curse of poverty in your family. The road may be hard, but the victory will be sweet. Every wise decision, every step of faith, and every act of obedience is breaking chains that have held your family back for generations. You are laying the groundwork for a new legacy, one of freedom, wisdom, and abundance. It's often said that pressure creates diamonds, and in the spiritual sense, financial trials serve a similar purpose for God's chosen ones. These hardships aren't just random occurrences. They are tools God uses to refine His people, shaping their faith and character in ways that prosperity never could. Jesus faced His own trials and temptations, and through them, He showed us the importance of staying connected to God's purpose rather than relying on earthly riches. For the chosen, these moments of being financially broke are not about punishment. They are about preparation. When everything seems to be falling apart financially, that's when faith is truly tested. God allows these moments to strip away reliance on material things and to teach contentment in Christ alone. It's easy to trust God when everything is going well, but true spiritual maturity comes when you can trust Him in the midst of lack. The Bible tells us that contentment with godliness is great gain, and it's in these moments of financial trial that chosen ones learn what it truly means to be content in God. Think about gold being refined in the fire. The impurities are burned away, leaving behind something pure and valuable. In the same way, financial struggles serve as a refining fire for chosen ones, burning away their dependence on wealth and teaching them to trust God fully. Jesus didn't need riches to fulfill His purpose, and neither do chosen ones. What they need is a faith that has been refined by trials, a faith that is strong enough to carry them through any situation. In practical terms, this might mean learning to live with less, trusting that God will provide exactly what is needed. It could be about finding contentment in simplicity, or it might involve learning to give generously, even when it feels like there's not enough to go around. Jesus praised the widow who gave her last 2 coins because she trusted God more than her financial situation. Chosen ones are being called to that same kind of trust, where their faith is not tied to their bank balance but to their relationship with God. These trials also teach humility. When finances are tight, it's easy to feel frustrated or even embarrassed, but that's when God is doing his deepest work. Jesus humbled himself by becoming human, experiencing the limitations of life on earth, yet he never lost sight of his divine mission. Chosen ones, too, are being taught to embrace humility during financial hardship, understanding that these moments are refining their hearts and drawing them closer to God. The refining process also reveals where true treasure lies. Jesus taught that where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Financial trials have a way of exposing where we place our trust. Are we relying on money to bring us security, or are we trusting in God? Chosen ones are being refined to see that their true wealth lies not in material things, but in their relationship with God. This spiritual refinement ensures that when blessings come, they are seen as tools for God's purpose rather than personal gain. It's important to remember that trials are temporary, but the refinement they bring is eternal. Jesus endured the cross because he knew the joy that lay ahead. In the same way, chosen ones must endure financial hardship with the understanding that it's producing something far greater than money. It's producing spiritual depth, wisdom, and a closer walk with God. These trials are preparing them for the blessings and responsibilities that are yet to come. So, when financial struggles feel overwhelming, remember that you are being refined. God is using this season to purify your faith, to teach you contentment, and to prepare you for greater things. The financial trials may be hard, but they are temporary. The spiritual growth, however, is eternal. Chosen ones are being shaped for a purpose far greater than wealth. They are being refined for a life of divine significance. Sometimes, financial lack isn't just a test, it's a divine redirection. God allows his chosen ones to experience seasons of financial struggle to refocus them on what truly matters. When the world around us is obsessed with success, wealth, and achievement, it's easy to get caught up in chasing those same things. But God has a different plan for his chosen. Jesus didn't come to amass wealth or build an empire. He came to fulfill a divine purpose. In the same way, chosen ones are often redirected from worldly pursuits to something far more significant: eternal impact. You've likely heard the phrase, "When one door closes, another one opens." In the case of financial hardship, the closed door is often the pursuit of material success. God uses financial struggles to close those doors and guide his chosen ones toward a path that aligns with his will. Jesus himself faced moments where his mission seemed in jeopardy, but every time, God redirected him back to his purpose. The same is true for chosen ones. Sometimes the lack of finances is actually a blessing in disguise, steering them toward their true calling. When you're financially broke, it's easy to feel like something is wrong, like you've made a mistake or missed out on an opportunity. But in reality, God is using this season to protect you from things that could take you off track. It's not about being punished. It's about being redirected. Think of it as a course correction. God sees the whole picture, and he knows that certain paths won't lead to the greatness he has planned for you. Jesus followed God's direction, even when it didn't make sense to others, and chosen ones are called to do the same. In practical terms, divine redirection might mean stepping away from a career path that seems lucrative but doesn't align with God's purpose for you. It could look like learning to live on less so that you can focus more on the things that truly matter, like family, faith, and community. Jesus taught that life is more than what we eat, drink, or wear. It's about doing the will of the Father. For chosen ones, financial struggle is a reminder to prioritize eternal significance over temporary success. Sometimes, the lack of money forces chosen ones to rely on God more than ever before, which is exactly where he wants them to be. When we have too much, it's easy to forget about God's provision. Jesus told his disciples that it's harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven because wealth can become a distraction. Financial lack, on the other hand, clears the distractions and redirects focus toward God's purpose. It's not about what's missing. It's about what's being gained in the process. This redirection isn't always easy to accept. It can be frustrating when it feels like everyone else is moving forward financially while you're stuck. But God's plans are higher than ours. Jesus didn't achieve earthly success in the way people expected, yet his life had more impact than any wealthy ruler of his time. Chosen ones are called to follow that same path, focusing not on worldly success but on eternal impact. God is redirecting them toward something far greater than financial gain. One of the hardest parts of divine redirection is letting go of your own plans. It's easy to hold on to the idea that success equals wealth, but God sees success differently. He sees success in terms of obedience, faithfulness, and alignment with His will. Chosen ones who embrace this redirection find that their purpose becomes clearer, even if their bank account doesn't. Jesus lived a life of purpose, not wealth. And in the same way, chosen ones are being led to a life of lasting significance. So when financial struggles feel overwhelming, take a step back and ask yourself, is God redirecting me? Often, the lack is there to guide you towards something greater. Jesus said, "Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added to you." God is using financial hardship to refocus His chosen ones on what really matters: eternal purpose, spiritual alignment, and divine impact. Now that you've seen why God's chosen ones often face financial struggles, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue to view being broke as a setback, or will you embrace it as part of God's divine preparation for greatness? Think about the areas in your life where financial hardship has hit you hardest. Are those the same areas where God is calling you to grow the most? This isn't just about surviving the struggle. It's about thriving in faith, trusting that God is refining you for something much bigger. What generational curses are you ready to break? How will you allow God to redirect your life towards His eternal purpose? Even when the world's definition of success tells you otherwise, these financial trials are shaping you, preparing you to handle the blessings God has for you. Are you ready to let go of your own plans and trust that His plans are better? If this message has resonated with you, take a moment to reflect. Drop a comment below and let's discuss how God is moving in your life. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Together, we'll continue to explore how God is using these trials to prepare His chosen ones for greatness. You're not just broke, you're being built. Stay connected, and let's keep growing in faith, purpose, and wisdom.